recommended by the governance transition team for the setting up of the commissions of inquiry. And we're here this morning where the launch is expected to be done by the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, President Julius Maada Bio. And so far it's going on well. And as earlier on mentioned, we have so many dignitaries from the opposition and the ruling SLPP government. Already we've seen the presence of the former Vice President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, a member of the Oppositional People's Congress Party, Victor Fo. He's already here. We are also seeing the former Vice President Salone Berewa. They are all here. Government functionaries are all here to witness the launch of the commissions of inquiry. But what is also interesting right now, as you can see, you have people who've suffered from the mudslide, people who've suffered from Ebola. They are now carrying placards with inscriptions: mudslide victims in support of commissions of inquiry, justice for all, justice for Sierra Leone, Ebola survivors in support of the commission of inquiry, justice for all. And you have so many inscriptions on the placards: bring back our Ebola money. These are all inscriptions. As you can see, take a look right down. They are standing in a queue opposite the Sierra Leone Peace Museum where the launch will take place. And already we have the resigned, or should I say former Chief Justice of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Justice Abdoulaye Chama. He has come here. We have the Speaker of the House of Parliament, Honorable Abbas Bundu. We have government ministers. We have the country's Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Priscilla Swatch. She is here. We await the arrival of the Vice President and the President for the official launch of the commissions of inquiry here at the Peace Museum in the premises of the special court. And this is a symbol that the government is really serious about. The government is really serious about getting the commissions up and running. In the midst of this, we're still seeing opposition politicians saying they would not comply in the absence of the rules of engagement. We will continue to bring you things as they unfold. We will continue to ensure that we bring you the happenings here at the Sierra Leone Peace Museum at the premises of the Sierra Leone Special Court. And we have so many people here. We're also going to ensure that we bring you the arrival of the President and the Vice President. Security is very, very tight here, and there are a whole lot of interest groups waiting to witness the launch of the commissions of inquiry. Whether or not it's going to pan out to the fashionable outcome, it's something we await to see after the launch by His Excellency the President. But you have people here. We have people with disability that are all here with the placards displaying them. Please, Papa government, help the disabled children. Please, this is something that is being on the inscription. And also, we're trying to ensure that we get somebody to speak to mudslide victims in support of the Commission of Inquiry. I am a mudslide victim. I stand with the Commission of Inquiry. These are all inscriptions on the placards being displayed by the people who are here to ensure that you get their views, you get how they feel about the commissions of inquiry. And we will ensure that we continue to bring those things. And as a result of that, we're here waiting to witness the official launch of the commissions of inquiry. We have so many dignitaries, and now we have the Deputy Minister of Information and Communication, Solomon Jamiru. Good morning and welcome to AYV.
Good morning, AYV, and thank you for the opportunity.
Now we are here to ensure that Sierra Leoneans both at home and abroad get a feel of what is happening, all the twists and turns during this launch of the commissions of inquiry. First off, as a government, how would you assess or describe the commitment to ensuring that these commissions are up and running?
Well, as a member of the government, I want to first of all thank the people of Sierra Leone. His Excellency the President had said it even prior to his election, that if given the opportunity to be the nation's first gentleman, he would launch a war against poverty, against corruption, and against indiscipline. And true to his promise, and with the generation of the GTT report, today we are having the Commission of Inquiry, which he appointed pursuant to Section 147 and with due process, and part of which had to be the parliamentary debate. So as a country, I think we feel fulfilled that we have a government that pledged and is delivering on its promise. Now that we're at this point, it is our expectation as a government that we'll have a commission that indeed will give everybody a fair opportunity. Those who are persons of interest to the commission should face the commission, and because the opportunity is availed them, so that at least they could explain their version of what happened. It is only through that this country will be in a position to make an assessment of what may have gone wrong and how as a country we can formulate an approach in moving forward in terms of best practices for our institutions, our ministries, our departments and our agencies. So indeed we feel very encouraged as a government that we are where we are. But this is not the end of the road. We'll be following with keen interest the progress of the Commission, and indeed the Commission will be able to make enough progress within a very short time, depending on the cooperation of persons who are of interest to the Commission.
I'm going to take you on that, but quickly before taking you to persons of interest to the commissions, if you take a look, you'll see people who are claiming to be victims of Ebola survivors, victims of the mudslide, both able and disabled, displaying placards that show concern and support for the establishment of the commissions. What does this mean to the government?
Well, this means that there is overwhelming solidarity. I mean, I have always said this, that we bear in mind that now that we are having a commission of inquiry, someday, somehow in the future, some other government might decide to subject this present government to a future commission of inquiry. So that is why for us, it is something that we have to do, but we also are having this as an example for us that there has to be standards in public life. But what we see here today is an example that indeed Sierra Leoneans have had a fair share of deprivation, a fair share of injustice, and this is just what they are demonstrating, so that this commission becomes effective, so that this commission yields for them the dividend that they require. And if we are going to look at some of the posters that we have, one of the posters would read, "For free and quality education, we support the Commission of Inquiry. For food security, we support the Commission of Inquiry. For good roads, we support the Commission of Inquiry. For professional and efficient national security, we support the Commission of Inquiry." And indeed, you know, when we had the war, it was people in the provincial areas, the majority, that suffered the brunt of this war. So indeed, when people come out like this, what they are saying to the commission is, please do this for the sake of us. Don't do this because of witch hunt. Don't do this to target any political party. Do this so that at the end of the day, it is Sierra Leoneans that will become the winners. And that is why we are in this business. And for me, as Deputy Minister of Information and Communications, I'm committed to this because at the end of the day, we want governments to be responsive to the needs of the people. So I feel very much encouraged, and I hope that as government, we'll be able to deliver on our expectations.
Let's go back to the call of the people that you should do this not to target any politician, any political party. And already we're seeing the opposition, APC, the previous administration that you want to probe, maintaining its stance, its position that it will not subject itself to the commissions of inquiry, owing to the fact that there is no rule of evidence. Is this something you are going to engage them on, or is this something that we're going to see the implementation of a law that will compel them to comply with the commissions?
The All People's Congress is the party, the major party in opposition, and I respect that, and I believe every Sierra Leonean respects that. But the arguments they've been canvassing, those arguments really are redundant. I mean, I've said so in several fora. I'm not saying that out of disrespect. I'm saying that based on our constitutional provisions and the terms of reference of the Commission of Inquiry. What we can say to the All People's Congress is it is foolhardy of the party to ask their persons not to face the commission, because they also have to bear in mind that decisions could be taken in the absence of persons who are of interest. But even that, the commission will also enjoy the powers of the High Court, and the commission in its way will try as best as possible to compel the attendance of witnesses. This thing about rules of evidence, I normally don't want to get down that legal route, because we are not having a conversation with another lawyer. And when we want members of the public to really benefit from the discussion, the less said about so many legal issues, the better, because you may end up confusing the people rather than persuading them. But as a government, I want to assure the members of the public that the constitutional instruments documents have said the rules of practice and procedure applicable to the High Court shall also apply to the Commission of Inquiry, unless the fact that there will be slight modifications, because the Commission of Inquiry is not a judicial tribunal but an investigative mechanism. Apart from that, we have an old law, the Commissions of Inquiry Act Cap 54 of 1960, which gives any Commission of Inquiry the power to have rules to regulate its own proceedings. So if you put the two together, it makes mockery of the argument that the Commission does not have rules. So that is why I said that argument is redundant. The APC is a party in opposition. We respect them and we will continue to encourage them. If you say you are law-abiding, if you say you support transparency and accountability, now you have a platform to come out, face the Commission if you are a person of interest. Indeed, it is going to be free and fair. And at the end of the day, the public would be in a position to determine and judge that, yes, they were very brave, they were very courageous, they felt they had no case to answer, and so they faced the Commission. But if you say we are not facing the Commission of Inquiry because A, B, and C, I think that is an argument that will not see the light of day. So we'll continue to encourage them in the sake of transparency and accountability, and to prove to the people of Sierra Leone that you are a party worth your salt. This is an opportunity to face the Commission.
Obviously, the dialogue has failed because they continue to maintain their stand. So what would government do to ensure that they comply?
Well, we will not push it down their throat what to do. I am sure they have lawyers, they have legal counsel to advise them on the position of the law. If they maintain the position that they maintain, I mean, we have to respect that is the official position of the party. But they also have to note that that has been sufficiently taken as record, it has been noted, and indeed there could be repercussions, there could be liabilities. And as my brother Karamo Kaba said today, he said that on 98.1, he said he's aware that if you don't appear before the Commission could take decisions in your absence. So if you put all of that on a scale, I think it is very advisable that they face the Commission gallantly, as brave as Sierra Leoneans, and we respect that. But to maintain the position that they have maintained, I think that position is redundant from day one.
Thank you very much.
You're always welcome.
Well, he's Solomon Jamil, the Deputy Minister of Information and Communication, and he has spoken a lot about happenings and obviously the current situation on ground here at the premises of the Special Court, where the commissions will be launched by His Excellency the President, retired Brigadier Julius Madabu. Remember, these commissions are 3, and they will be led by 3 judges. Already we are seeing so much support being thrown towards the setting up of the commissions by victims of the mudslide, by survivors of the Ebola, both disabled and able people. And we will continue to ensure that we bring you every twist and turn as things unfold here at the premises of the Special Court. So we'll have to leave you here and go back into the hall where we are expecting the President to make to do the official launch of the commissions. We'll now take you back into the hall where we expect the President to do the official launch. And I have mentioned few of the people who have arrived here at the Special Court. We have so many dignitaries already, and we have the Deputy Attorney General and Minister of Justice, and we have the Attorney General and Minister of Justice herself, Sarah Swart, and a whole lot of other dignitaries here at the premises of the Special Court. We have so many of the dignitaries here at the premises of the Special Court. As you've seen from outside, we are now in the hall where the launch is expected to take place. We have the Speaker of the House of Parliament, we have the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, we have a whole lot of other people. Obviously, we have the Chairman and Leader of the opposition, of the ruling party, the SLPP. We have the Special Advisor to the President, we have the Minister of Marine Resources, we have the Minister of Water Resources, Education, Finance, Internal Affairs, Deputy Minister, we have the Minister of Information and Communication, we have in the midst somebody that you would definitely want to think. You have members of Parliament, you see Honorable Indolo Gival, you have the former Vice President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, the most recent Victor Fo, you have under the SLPP, you have Salone Bewa. They are parleying. They are here to ensure that they witness the official launch of the commissions of inquiry. Of course, we have the former Chief Justice of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Abdoulaye Cham, and they are all here to ensure that they witness. And you have, of course, the Clerk of Parliament, Honorable Umar Parantawali. But quickly, a quick question, definitely one want to ask the former Vice President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Victor Fo. A quick question is, what is his take on the commissions of inquiry?
Okay. But I am really here to witness the formal opening. But I had said it all, that the commissions of inquiry should be held, they are valid, and we should all attend when called upon. That's all I can say.
You've heard from him. He is supporting the establishment of the commissions of inquiry. You also have the chairman and leader of the National Grand Coalition, and he is here to witness the official launch of the commissions of inquiry. Dr. Dennis Bright, good morning and welcome to AYV, sir.
Yes, good morning.
Now, Dr. Bright, what do you make of the commissions of inquiry as a political leader?
Well, we think it's a great progress, a great step we're making towards accountability, and we really are looking forward to the sittings and basically how the whole thing is going to evolve. But we believe that in a healthy democracy, accountability is key. And probably this is one of the milestones that we should be witnessing. So we hope that everything goes well, and that as a country we are able to embrace the concept behind the Commission of Inquiry.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bright, for talking to us. And we continue to ensure that we bring you the views from, obviously, as you can see, we have from the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, we have the ambassador, the U.S. ambassador to Sierra Leone. She's here. We have Guy Warrington, the UK High Commissioner. They are all here. And obviously, we also have those who are in the front line to fight corruption. And you have the Commissioner himself and his deputy. Good morning and welcome to AYV, Mr.
A very good morning to you. How are you?
I'm okay. What does this mean? The launch of these commissions this morning?
Well, the launch of the commission today is really the launch of the rebirth of Sierra Leone, where we are going to institutionalize a cycle of accountability, where those who governance can understand that at the end of the day, you have the people to answer to, and it will be in an open, fair, and well-organized atmosphere, so that the people can know what happened during your term, so that we can learn from it for the future as a country. To me, this is the best thing that is going to happen to this country, and we are repositioning ourselves, and we are announcing to the world that we are ready to enter the among countries that are called great.
Announcing to the world that we're ready to fight corruption, and the rebirth and repositioning, one might question whether or not that is going to happen, owing to the fact that the persons of interest are saying they will not comply to the commissions of inquiry.
Well, we'll find a way to first of all let them understand that this is the mandate of the law, and it is not about their choice. It is about what the law says should happen, and it will happen. And we try to cajole them. If that fails, there are other ways to get people to comply with the law, and we'll invoke them accordingly. But I want to believe that at the end of the day, they are going to come, because they should understand that we are all brothers and sisters in this country, and anything that is geared towards making the country better, that geared towards ensuring transparency, that is geared towards bringing about accountability, I think we should embrace it as a country. And it does not matter where you are, it does not matter what political leaning you have, it does not even matter what social cleavage you have. We all have together for the good of this country, and what is happening here today is the greatest testament of that to happen.
What hope or renewed energy does this bring to the fight against corruption?
I think it is giving the fight against corruption a really, really heavy boost, because it is an additional effort to what the Anti-Corruption Commission is doing to make sure that the country has a good system of accountability. So it's a good thing, and we look forward to how it shapes up in the next 2-3 months to go, and conclude it in the next 6 months.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. He is Francis Ben Kaifala, the Commissioner of the country's anti-graft body. And like I mentioned earlier, we have so many ministers in the building. And we have the minister that controls the coffers of Sierra Leone. Definitely, he needs to tell us, what does this mean for fiscal discipline, accountability, and transparency in Sierra Leone? Good morning and welcome to AYV, Mr. Minister.
Yeah, good morning.
Now, the launch of these commissions, what does it mean for Sierra Leone's accountability, fiscal discipline, and prudent management of the economy?
It means everything. It means when you're in office, you have to be very mindful about how you manage public resources. It's good for public financial management. It's good for fiscal discipline. It's also us, current holders of office, to be accountable. At least it still fears in the minds of the wicked.
So now you people are in office. Does this mean that there is going to be some cautious efforts to ensuring that accountability, transparency, and corruption is mitigated during your tenure?
Largely, it's a check. I mean, anything you do now, you have to be mindful that a possible commission of inquiry will also be launched at some point. While you are holding government office, you should know it's not private property, it's a government office, and therefore whatever resources are controlled is public resources. You have to be very careful how you go about your business. Even making critical decisions, you have to make sure it's in the interest of the nation, not in your private interest.
Thank you very much, Mr. Minister. Well, obviously, the setting up of these commissions have created some tensions politically across the country, and there is a whole ministry set up for the security of the state. We want to know, and many Sierra Leoneans who are watching and listening to us right now would want to know, what does the security sector make of the tensions that have been created by the setting up of the commissions? And I have the Deputy Minister of Internal Affairs, retired Lieutenant Lahai Lawrence. Lima, good morning and welcome to AYV.
Good morning, AYV, and good morning, listeners.
Now, take us through, what does the Ministry of Internal Affairs make of the security, the tensions around the setting up of these commissions?
Well, Commission of Inquiry, especially which is has to do with looking into the activities of the past government, we do believe that the fight against corruption is one actually that has a lot of intricacies and that has security challenges. But what is also unique about our own Commission of Inquiry is the fact that the people of Sierra Leone have welcomed the Commission of Inquiry, which is supposed to say that we'll have less tension in the process. However, for the handful of those who will think that they will resist the process, there is also security measures in place to ensure that the commission goes on smoothly. Because what we think, it is actually the Commission of Inquiry is to create a fair process for all those who have to face the Commission of Inquiry and to ensure that justice is served. So we are also encouraging those who are to face the inquiry to ensure that they become law-abiding and face the inquiry. There is no way anybody is going to put them on the spot, but if the law says you have served in office for a period of time and you are to come and be accountable for the way and manner you served in office, I am sure it's but fitting that as a peaceful citizen, as a law-abiding citizen, to appear before the Commission of Inquiry. For those perhaps who might think that they will put up resistance, there is security measures in place to ensure that the work of the Commission goes on smoothly.
Talking about resistance, we've seen already the persons of interest are maintaining their position that they will not comply in the absence of the rules of engagement.
It is my belief that the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, His Excellency the President, retired Brigadier Julius Marabiu, once he declares the Commission of Inquiry today to start work, every Sierra Leonean who is called to face the inquiry is subject or bound by law to face the Commission of Inquiry. Failure to do so, there is also legal measures to ensure that they face the Commission of Inquiry. And I will also crave their indulgence to rethink, not to subject themselves to any further embarrassment or any form of embarrassment, because they've been honorable men in offices and therefore they should act and behave honorably.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Well, that's it. We've spoken to a few of the champions here, and we will now hand you over back to the studio as we await the arrival of the Vice President and the President for the official launch of the Commissions of Inquiry. We hand you over back to our main studio at Tower Hill.
Civil courts.
watching AYV Television.
Abdul Fonsi is my name. Welcome to the AYV studios at Tower Hill in Freetown, and thanks to our anchor there at the Special Court building, where the commissions of inquiry shall be launched today by no less a personality than the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone. Of course, you've seen Samuel Wise there giving you a background of what is currently happening. Starting from the outside, you see protests of Ebola survivors, you see protests of mudslide victims in support of the Commission of Inquiry, and inside the building it's all jam-packed with dignitaries, starting with the former Vice President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Victor Bokarifo, who has reiterated that he is in support of the Commission of Inquiry, and of course Wise held interviews with the anti-corruption boss, Finance Minister, Deputy Minister of Internal Affairs, and Deputy Minister of Information and Communications. All of them have reiterated the fact that the Commission of Inquiry is legal, and that everybody that is a person of interest who is invited to the Commission of Inquiry is required or bound by law to appear in front of the Commission of Inquiry. Back in the studios here, I have a panelist, a panel of, journalists and civil society activists that shall be here as we unveil the commissions of inquiry today. Currently with us live in the studios is James Williams. He is called Jerry Lee. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Fonti.
And I also have with me a friend of mine and a brother, Herbert Bikul Bangura. Welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
And of course, on the waiting seat, we have Austin Thomas and Abdul Blah. They shall be joining us also in the course of analyzing what is happening today at the Special Court building, where the commissions of inquiry are being launched. Jerry Lee, what's your take generally? The commissions of inquiry will be launched today, and you've seen and heard interviews at the Special Court building.
Yeah, basically, this is not the first time we're having commissions of inquiry. I am a bit confused about, we are going to have, is it a commission of inquiry, or are we going to have commissions of inquiry? Because for what I understand, we have 3 commissions of inquiry. Mm-hmm. In the past, we've had in 1968, for example, we had the Justice Foster Commission of Inquiry, the Bill Kubet's Commission of Inquiry, and another one, Dove Edwin Commission of Inquiry. Okay. That one was looking at, Dove Edwin was looking at the political aspect of the elections and how it was conducted. Okay. Bill Kubet was looking at the Sierra Leone Police Marketing Board and other things. And Foster was looking at the overall, like this one, looking at the overall administration of the state. Having said that, so this is not new. We've had other commissions of inquiry. I don't think it ends with the commission of inquiry. Okay. The most important thing is the government white paper. After the commission of inquiry has submitted its report to government, government will come out with the white paper saying, this man, okay, this man should do this man is good, okay, you found this man that he performed poorly in administration, so you should do this or you should not do that. So it is left with, at the end, it is left with government to decide who does what or who does not do what. But again, another aspect of it is the fact that this commission of inquiry has been targeted by the opposition as saying that the rules of evidence are not there, and because it is equal to a high court and all that, it has the jurisdiction of a high court. We also have the fact that this particular commission of inquiry, like they say, did not include the vote controllers of the, that is, vote controllers mainly are the permanent secretaries of ministries and other places where, that is the MDAs, where who actually sign and collect monies to run whatever institution they are heading as professionals. But I see this launching now as just a fanfare thing of saying that the commission of inquiry is going to start, has started. that government is keeping to its word of saying that, yes, we said we'll do a commission of inquiry, and we're doing it. Okay. And now today is like, it's like the baptism of the commission of inquiry.
Okay, Jeweli, we'll come back to you to discuss the merits and demerits of the commission of inquiry. How about Bikul? What are your initial thoughts? The commissions of inquiry are starting today, and you've seen what is happening currently at the New England Ville.
All right, thank you very much, Fonty. I think, first of all, I think Sierra Leoneans out there are there with a mixed feeling, because there's a whole lot of politics, you know, in the air, and most of the time people don't get to explain to people what is this about, and you see some from one camp will tell you this is against us, and then the others will be like, this is for us, you know. But I think it's a good thing if we all as Sierra Leoneans see this as for all of us instead of for them and against the others, you know, because commission of inquiry is not new to Sierra Leone. Jeweli, who is an elder, just mentioned that as well. He's lived longer than both of us, you know. Yeah. So these are not actually new to Sierra Leone. He mentioned something which is very salient. I think we must consider that and think moving forward, because is this really at politicians only, or is it for those who serve in the past administration? Because that's the issue, you know. That was a whole administration. It was not only for those ministers or, you know, or deputies or so on. So it's a good
But again,
thing.
where is this misconception coming from? Who is actually saying these commissions of inquiry are set up for the political heads?
Well, it's coming from the politicians, of course. And you see, for example, you've listened to people who are from the APC, I'll say, telling their followers, I mean, the witch hunting us, they're actually against, you know, what we've done and the strides we've made and all of that. They're trying
but the
to get us.
Government is saying the commissions of inquiry are meant for both administrative and political heads, as long as you served in the past administration, yes?
And there you go, because you have people also who are within the present government and the SLPP saying this is for us, you know, it's, I mean, we're going to deal with them, you know. I mean, if you give that kind of a message, you know, it's kind of like Blackpool playing Lions, you know, you're playing to get a trophy, but that shouldn't be the case.
Okay, Joey, you seem to be disagreeing that the commissions of inquiry are set up for both administrative and political heads.
Yeah, for what I gathered from the instruments laid before Parliament, it was basically, that's the argument that the APC has been putting up, that the permanent secretaries and the vote controllers should be included in the commission of inquiry.
But is there anywhere in those instruments wherein the permanent secretaries, for example, are excluded? I don't think so. I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen all the instruments yet. I don't know, but from what they told, you see, again, people seem to be playing politics with this thing. And that's wrong. We, the people of Sierra Leone, deserve better. We deserve to be treated as Sierra Leoneans in Sierra Leone and for the development of Sierra Leone. The politicians should stop leading us by the nose. We want the truth about who is going to face the commission of inquiry, who is nobody has been found guilty yet.
So this is the point. Who is going to tell us the truth? Because the government has been silent over the actual persons of interest for the commissions of inquiry. And the opposition is so vocal that the permanent secretaries have been excluded from the commissions of inquiry. But we haven't seen any documents to the effect excluding permanent secretaries, for example, or including them.
Well, I did listen to the arguments in Parliament, and I thought I had, like you rightly said, they're saying that the permanent secretaries who are vote controllers should be included. We do not understand. I am not a lawyer. I have not read that document. I don't know how to interpret it. As the drama unfolds, this is a drama. We are dramatizing everything instead of being an accountability exercise. It should be an accountability exercise, an exercise in which Sierra Leoneans will know that after this government leaves power, this government will also face a commission of inquiry and account to us.
Okay.
Because they are standing for us,
okay,
and not against us. You see, both the government, whereas the government, it means both the APC and the SLPP, and all those who are in government. I am a Sierra Leone, and I believe in Sierra Leone. I wholly and solely want Sierra Leone to move forward. But if we keep dragging back with all kinds of arguments and whatever, and the people do not, like, we are journalists, we are supposed to know. But we are still in the dark about certain things.
Exactly.
And I think that is not fair. If we don't know, the people won't know.
But maybe we, the journalists or the civil society activists, are the ones that are not being fair to the people of this country. Because in this whole debate, it will seem as there are two camps. One camp that thinks it is for us, and another camp that thinks it is against us. So that is where the journalists come in. You don't expect us to be sitting here at the studios and get all this information, and it's our duty to go for this information, ask the relevant questions, but we seem not to be doing that. We seem to be pitching tent with those that think it is for them and those that think it is against them.
Well, unfortunately, it has become something very distasteful. The journalists in this country and civil society, everybody has taken political sides, which does not make sense. We are barely messengers. We are messengers who pass on the message. We should go there, dig deeper, and find out the truth about what both sides are telling us, like you said. But we're not digging deep enough. We're just sitting down and assuming that Mr. A said this, Mr. B said this, so therefore this one must be right or that one must be right, depending on where your leanings are.
So how about in this state of for us and against us, who does these commissions of inquiry benefit at the end of the day, really?
Well, it is actually our expectations as Sierra Leoneans that it benefits the country, every Sierra Leonean. The problem we have, and we've always been having, is the fact that we don't treat the people of this country seriously, like Jay Willie mentioned. There's always this divisive politics that we play. A commission of inquiry shouldn't be it's for or against. You understand me? It should be an accountability process, like you rightly mentioned. And again, this is where we have failed, and that's the reason why people have failed to embrace, government as being our government. Instead, they say it's the SLPP government or it's the APC government. Because I strongly believe that a government of Sierra Leone should be the government of and by the people and for the people, and not, you see. So if we continue to, if you listen to the different debates and people talking here and there, if you listen to people from the SLPP side, they'll always sound like we go deal with them, and all of that, and if you listen to the APC side, they would always be like, then can't we on to it.
So with the talks of we go deal with them, as you put it, is it possible that this commission is actually not exclusively meant for accountability purposes, but maybe also for political witch hunt reasons, as the opposition believes?
Well, quite frankly, that's the reason why from the onset we've been discussing this, and we've been saying the commission and the processes should be open and transparent. I mean, that's the way forward, because once it's open and transparent, if you're called upon and accused for a particular issue, you can openly defend that. And the people of this country from across would have an opportunity to see and to listen, and so that they themselves can be able to say, oh yes, the process was fair, the process was this and that.
But I mean, we cannot for all the process is actually fair, but the government is just playing in the hands of an opposition propaganda, a very strong one at that.
I don't know if that would be the case, but the fact remains, that's the reason why I disagree, at some point with the speaker for the opposition, APC now, who was saying, we're going to stay away from this. I mean, you cannot stay away from such a process. Because if you're accused, you have an opportunity to defend yourself. You have an opportunity to prove to this nation that what they're saying is wrong.
But if you think the process is not fair, how would
we
you
need
participate?
An open process. Today is going to be lunch. Let's listen and see. so that they're going to tell us exactly that this is how the process is going to look like for the next few months or days or whatever week. We're going to know exactly how the process is going to be like. But we've been advocating that the process should be open, fair, and transparent.
J. Willie, what happens in a situation where the persons of interest make true their position that they are not going to participate in the commissions of inquiry? What are the options possibly you think the government is going to use?
Like you heard the Deputy Minister of Information say, if you keep yourself away from the commission may decide to take action or to take action against you in terms of looking at the evidence they have in front of them and take action, your absence notwithstanding.
Could they be tried in absentia?
Yes, you could be. Because what they need actually as evidence is the documents, if you sign any document, if you actually give any instructions which are counterproductive to good governance and all that. You see, what is happening here is the fact that like you say, I have lived long enough. I have seen commissions come and go. I don't think there should be too much, let me put it to ala over this one. I think what should happen is that if I am accused or if I'm called before the commission, I have my legal representative. He will go there and make a case in terms of whether there is a case against me, whether there's no case, or whether I'm being tried fairly, or whether I'm not tried fairly. It should be clear to us so that we know what exactly is happening. We know what Salonians should see or get from this commission of inquiry. Don't forget, I can tell you now, let me just a little bit about commissions of inquiry. There was a commission of inquiry set up in which both the APC and at one time, the APC lost their party headquarters. At another point, earlier than that, the SLPP, that was in the 68th Commission of Inquiry, lost their party headquarters. Today, they have it back. So, for me, I think it's
so. Where do you think this
it's more about
where
the
do
monies.
you think this fuse is coming from?
I think it's about the monies which went astray. Like now, what I don't seem to understand is how Ebola survivors and mudslide. I think a person is presumed innocent in the English law until found guilty by a competent court of law, which means that the Commission of Inquiry is a competent court of law.
Okay.
And I cannot just go and stand there and say, this man stole our money, this man ate our money. We have to have proof.
But maybe what you also don't know is the fact that these Ebola and mudslide survivors that are currently protesting there in favor of the commissions of inquiry have their monies mismanaged.
Well, okay, they say their monies were mismanaged, but they too have mismanaged their own monies by themselves. Don't forget, if you are a journalist, you should realize that these guys, every government that comes in every year, they ask these governments for money. Why? Are they not Salonians? In the case of the mudslide victims, I have no sympathy for them. I'm sorry. I sound because
why so?
Because nobody sent them to build houses on the hills. It's a very, very dangerous place to build houses. You go now, you build your house there, there's a natural disaster, and now you want government to compensate you every year.
But there is a saying, two wrongs does not make it right. Because they were wrong does not mean you should be wrong to mismanage their funds.
These guys have been compensated in the first place, in the last regime. Now this regime comes in again. They have been putting pressure on this regime to compensate them again. I hope you understand what I'm saying. They are all using certain tactics to get what they want. I don't think that is fair. I think what should happen is that Salonians, we all should sit back and wait and watch as this thing unfolds, how the Commission of Inquiry unfolds.
Herbert, what options do we have? AYV newspaper is saying commissions of inquiry to start this morning in Freetown. You they go or you know they go?
Well, assuming you were called, I would have advised you to go, and if I was, then definitely I was going to be there too. You see, I think there's whole lot of misconception here, you know, and misunderstanding.
Would you still go even if you think it's a kangaroo commission of inquiry, as the opposition would call it?
I do not subscribe to that definition of what we have today that is going to be launched. So I'd rather say whatever the case may have been, I would be there to defend myself. I have an opportunity to do it and to clear myself off once. The misconception there is with the issue that has to do with, I just mentioned that we play too much politics in everything we do, and people try to thwart the truth, and they thwart things to suit them, you know, all the time. The fact remains that we said something that needs to be clear. The Commission of Inquiry itself does not render judgment.
No.
So that is one thing we need to let people understand. They're inquiring into the past administration. So if we believe that while you are at AYV serving in this position, A, B, C, D, and E went wrong, for example, we could say, fine, we want to ask Funty, what happened at the time that you were head of A, B, C, and D position? Can you please tell us? We realized that there was some maladministration in this process. What happened? What went wrong? You have a right to come and let us know exactly what happened, what went wrong, because that was a responsibility given to you. So I see no reason like why should we force after these things? Because we are given an... You see, I think there should be sincerity of purpose from the side of government, understanding that this should not be an SLPP thing. It should be the government of Sierra Leone thing, and it's for the people of Sierra Leone. It's for our own good, and it should not be seen as some political instrument. You know, because if it becomes that, then I'm afraid if the SLPP leaves power in 2023, for God's sake, it's going to be something else. Then we might have another APC thing. But it should be something for national benefit and for national good. And I think it's a right thing for people to account.
So that brings us to the question of who would want to set up a commission of inquiry of this nature that will come back to haunt you 5-10 years later?
Well, the point is, it is needed. At any point, it is needed. We want the commission of inquiry to go on. We want people to account for whatever they did while in office. But at the same time, like my colleague said here, it must be on a national scale. It must be not an APC or SLPP thing, but it must be a Sierra Leone, government of Sierra Leone thing. Because the government of Sierra Leone is representing every Sierra Leonean. The government of Sierra Leone, now we have split the government of Sierra Leone into two. We have an APC angle, we have an SLPP angle, and everybody is so confused, everybody is so that you don't even know where you are heading for. But we should be aware that this is not, we don't have an SLPP government, we don't have an APC government. I have always said we have a government of Sierra Leone.
So before we bring in the...
When you go to the international fora, you don't say this is the SLPP government delegation. You say this is the Sierra Leone government delegation.
Yeah.
So why do we now come back home and we start talking about SLPP government or APC government?
So before we bring in the other guests, what do we expect from the president in his statements during the launching of the commissions of inquiry? Because you will remember that during the launch of the government transition team, it would seem that is where the government got it wrong in the start, the statements made. So what do we expect today from the president of the Republic of Sierra Leone during the launch?
I expect the president to assure both the people of Sierra Leone and the opposition parties that this is a national thing and that they have nothing to fear. And because this Commission of Inquiry has taken some time in putting it together, it will be different from the GTT report, because you don't call somebody a thief until you prove that he indeed has stolen something.
Okay.
So I expect the president to assure both the people of Sierra Leone and the opposition parties that this is a commission of inquiry which is good for every Sierra Leone, which is good for the country. Accountability is good for the country. So that when you account, everybody will understand, everybody will see you as being fair to everybody. It is about fairness and accountability.
Okay.
If the president can send that message home, I'm sure this tension will die down over this commission of inquiry.
Okay, Herbert, what are we expecting from the president today?
Well, I think bottom line is we all agree with the fact that we all have a responsibility to fight corruption and to take our country to where it belongs. And I think this is a step in the right direction. However, we would expect that the president gives assurance to every one of us as Sierra Leoneans to know that this would not be an SLPP thing against an APC, but it would be a national thing that works for the people and the government of Sierra Leone, and something that we expect to follow time after time in the interests of peace, sustainable peace and development of our country. Another thing I would also like to say is the fact that, you know, I love my great-grandparents so much, and I love the parables that they told. And my grandmother would say, "Kumbra fall, not a jump fire." You know, and I think this is a word for the wise. You know, so whatever we do, let's be mindful.
Thank you, Herbert Bikul Bangura, and thanks to you, James Williams, Jerry Lee. We shall continue with the rest of this special program on the commissions of inquiry that are supposed to be launched today. Let's go for a short break, and remember, Abdul Fonti Kabir is my name.
Check it out. Sierra Juice. Taste of Salone. And that's for real, for real. Check it out. Here we go.
Now when you're feeling thirsty, you can quench your thirst. Take Sierra Juice. And when you're chilling with your friends, need to quench your thirst. Take Sierra Juice. And when you're chilling at a party, chilling with a hardy, take Sierra Juice. And no denying, Sierra Juice is the best, the best. Sierra Juice. Sierra Juice. So refreshing, so refresh, Sierra Juice. Sierra Juice. So refreshing.
Sierra Juice. Taste of Salone.
No.
Boy, the ball was out. Boy, the ball was out. The ball was out, boy.
Not now. I promised to top up EDSA today.
Stop complaining and use your Africell line to buy us EDSA.
My Africell line? Africell?
Oh yes! With your Africell line. To buy EDSA, simply dial *161# to access your Africell money account and choose bill payment. Then select EDSA recharge. Enter your meter number, enter the amount you want to pay, and then enter your Africell money PIN to confirm your transaction.
But how can I refill my Africell money account?
You can top up your Africell money account with no extra charges from any Africell outlet near you, or simply at any shop or bank where you see a sign that says Africell money available here. Buy EDSA now, straight from your Africell money account at the cheapest cost ever. A price nobody dares to match.
Chief Justice, First Lady, Ministers of Government, Honourable Members of Parliament, Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Commission Secretariat, we would like to formally welcome you to the launching. But before we start, we would like to invite the presence of God in our midst, and I'd like to invite Sheikh Dr. Salone Ibrahim Kamara to lead the Muslim prayers.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم في العالمين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. O Almighty Allah, you, the Lord of the universe, that have given yourself the most important attributes. You call yourself an Adli, the God of justice. You call on your followers to imbibe and practice and exhibit justice in all fields of life. Without justice, O Almighty Allah, you say there can never be any peaceful coexistence, development, and progress. O Almighty Allah, in the Quran and in Scripture, you told us that you abhor injustice. For you call it dhulm. Dhulm means sin. Dhulm also means injustice. It also means corruption. You call all your followers to abhor injustice. Justice of all faces, O Almighty Allah. For injustice is an impediment to development. O Almighty Allah, it is you that has commanded us to be just, even in our families. For those who are married, you said that if you cannot exhibit justice, more than two, then marry one. For those who have children, the male and the female, the Prophet said, he who is unjust between two children, male and female, will make up your Qiyamah part of the body rotting. Oh Almighty Allah, He did not stop there. He said we should also practice justice in our economic dealings, where we transact, we sell, we buy. Inside Surah Al-Rahman, he said, وَأَقِيمُوا الْوَجْنَ بِالْقِسْطِ وَلَا تُخْسِرُوا الْمِجَانِ. Steady your scales with justice and don't create an imbalance. For justice for Almighty Allah, you said it's a collective responsibility. In chapter 16, verse 90, chapter 16, verse 90, he said, we should imbibe three things. For development of the nation lies on these three things. How we should be afraid of three things. Inna Allah ya'murukum bil adli. Allah commanded us to be just. Wal ihsan, to be good to everyone without discrimination. Wa dhal qurba, to care about the kindred. Wa yanha 'anil fahsha'i, He has warned us against indecency. Wal baghi, abomination and rebellion. Oh Almighty Allah, You did not only stop there. You asked us also to be politically just. For you told us in the Quran, Surah Al-Qasas, that the reason for which you destroyed Pharaoh was because he created discrimination. He made the Israelites to suffer while the Egyptians continue to live. He did not stop there, oh Allah. You also told us to be just in our dealings, in our occupation. For justice is a collective responsibility. This is indeed a heavy task. For that, O Almighty Allah, we bless and pray for the Commission of Inquiry. We pray for the President who has stood behind this very important institution, for which is a responsibility for us to stand by it. With better prayer can we do? We read the prayer and all of us will say Amen. And I ask each and every one of us to Amen. Looking at the point between Christianity and Islam that came from the same source, the Middle East, you have the Muslims saying Amen, while the Christians say Amen. It's just a matter of stress. we spell it the same. So we say Amin as I read this prayer from all the bottom of my heart. Allahumma Rabbana taqabbal minna innaka anta samiul alim wa tub alayna mawlana innaka at-tawwabur rahim. Allahumma aghfir lana wa li ikhwanina. Oh Almighty Allah, forgive me and forgive our brothers alladhina sabaquna bil imani, who preceded us in development. ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم. Istajib du'a'ana as our supplication. Bi'aqitawlata because of the book of Moses. What Injila because of the gospel of Jesus. What Zabura because of the Psalm of David. Adina Jami mas'alaka bihi. Give us what we are asking you. Bidudika, you are the God of benevolence. Wakaramika, you are the God of honor. La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu minadh-dhalimin. Rabbana ighfir lana wa li ikhwanina alladhina sabaquna bil iman wa la taj'al fi qulubina ghillan lil ladzina amanu rabbana innaka ra'ufur rahim. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursalin rabbil alamin. Al-Fatiha. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alayhim ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Amin.
Thank you, Sheikh Dr. Salih Ibrahim, for the Christian prayer. I would like to invite His Grace Bishop Archibald Cole.
Deuteronomy chapter 1 verse 16. And I charged your judges at that time, saying, hear the causes between your brethren, and judge righteously between every man and his brother and the stranger that is with him. We pray that the righteous judgment shall be upheld by this commission of inquiry. Isaiah chapter 56 verse 1. Thus saith the Lord, keep ye judgment and do justice, for my salvation is near to come, and my righteousness to be revealed. As those charged with the responsibility of this commission execute their duties, my prayer is that they will remember to give judgment and to do justice, thereby revealing the righteousness and the salvation of the Lord. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13 to 14. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. We pray that all the judges and the legal officials will remember to fear the Lord in the cause of dispensing justice in this commission of inquiry. Father, in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, our Lord and Master, we invoke your holy and righteous presence as this official launching of the Commission of Inquiry. Lord, we ask for your hand of grace to help those who will be involved in one way or the other in the name of Jesus. We pray for supernatural knowledge, for divine wisdom to help them in the process. In the mighty name of Jesus. Lord, we pray that you will simplify the complications and the complexities of issues and matters that may arise in the course of this commission. In the mighty name of Jesus. Lord, I take authority and I take dominion over every plan of the devil to derail the peaceful course of this commission. We disperse the spirits of confusion. We disperse the spirits of dissension. We disperse the spirits of strife. We disperse the spirits of contention. In the name of Jesus. Lord, you are Jehovah Salone. Therefore, release your peace and your grace over this commission. And even, Lord, as we observe the launching of this commission, We want to take this opportunity to commend and commit our President, our Vice President, the entire executive arm of government, the legislative and the judicial arms, respectively, in the name of Jesus. Father, in moments of intrigues and intricacies, make them to know that it is not by might, it is not by power, but it is by your Spirit, saith the Lord. Dear Lord, even as our coat of arms depict that we are built on the foundation of unity, freedom, and justice, therefore we declare that in the execution of their responsibilities, they will promote unity, they will uphold freedom, and they will keep justice. These and many more mercies we ask of the O Lord. In Jesus' name, and the people of God say amen. Amen.
Thank you very much, Bishop Ashwell. We would now like to invite the President of the Ebola Victim Association, Mr. Yusuf Kaba, to give us a statement.
His Excellency, the President, Retired Brigadier Julius Maravio, Her Excellency the First Lady, Ms. Basima Bio, Ministers of Government, Honorable Members of Parliament, distinguished personalities, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great honor and privilege that I stand on behalf of the Sierra Leone Association of Ebola Survivors to join the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone and his team to welcome you all to this official launch of the Commission of Inquiry. Today has indeed been a long-awaited day to Ebola survivors, the answer to their cry for justice. The Ebola virus epidemic, which started in Sierra Leone on May 2014, was one of the country's most devastating experiences, killing over thousands of its citizens and leaving a good number of its population in despair. The epidemic ravaged through economic, social, community, cultural boundaries, tearing families and loved ones apart, and crossing family lines. That was the end. But against all odds, there are over 4,000 people who survived the virus, presently on their journey to economic recovery and accelerated growth, social integration, and community cohesion. These 4,052 survivors are a symbol of Sierra Leone's resilience. However, to date, Ebola survivors still face enormous challenges, both acute and long-term, including their daily livelihood, varying health concerns, eyesight problems, dumbness, severe joint pains, hearing problems requiring specialized care, reduced self-esteem, and a struggle to integrate into their communities. On January 2015, Ebola survivors from various treatment centers came together and formed the Sierra Leone Association of Ebola Survivors, SLACE. As the motto says, he who feels it, knows it. The association was formed for the sole aim of addressing, promoting, protecting, and advocating for Ebola survivors nationwide. Since then, the association has carried out many of its activities solely and sometimes in partnership with governments and non-governmental entities to see that the needs of its members are met. We also do not want to forget the larger population, the Ebola orphans, some of them sleeping in abandoned vehicles, market stores, dilapidated buildings, etc. These children, we believe, are Sierra Leone future. And so if their needs are not addressed, then we are looking at a Sierra Leone where crime, violence, hunger, and depression becomes order of the day. In all these sufferings, as a result of the mismanagement of Ebola funds by our own government. In a bid to bring justice to these vulnerable souls, we humbly urge the Commission of Inquiry to look into this with utmost diligence, knowing full that they have prayers, support of 4,052 Ebola survivors in our beloved country. We also look forward to the new direction under the leadership of His Excellency the President, Dr. Julius Malabio, for an improved relationship in handling the survivors issue, especially our pressing need free, quality, and specialized healthcare for all Ebola survivors in the Republic of Sierra Leone. To this end, we pledge our full cooperation and undying commitment to the Commission's mandate as we strive towards improved outcomes for Ebola survivors and the wider population. Thank you. God bless us. God bless the Republic of Sierra Leone.
Thanks to Mr. Yusuf Kabari. And for the opening remarks, we would like to invite the Lord Chief Justice, Justice Babatunde Edwards, to the podium.
Your Excellency the President, this great Republic of Sierra Leone, Honorable Speaker of Parliament, Honorable First Lady, my Lords, Justices, Commissioners, Madam Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Chief Minister, Ministers, Honorable Members of Parliament, Members of the Diplomatic Corps, all protocols observed. It was James Lord, a journalist, 1819 to 1891, in the Boston Courier, 11th December 1845, protesting America's war with Mexico, who wrote these words, quote, "Once to every man and nation comes the moment to decide," unquote. By constitutional instruments number 64, 65, and 67, Sierra Leone amidst several available options, not limited to prosecution by the Anti-Corruption Commission, by which it could address and punish impunity, opted for the use of commissions of inquiry to address a seeming glaring malaise of corruption in all its forms. Thus, pursuant to Section 147 of the Constitution of Sierra Leone, Act No. 6 of 1991, which provides as follows, quote, "Save as otherwise provided in subsection 2, the President, by constitutional instrument, the President shall, by constitutional instrument, appoint a commission of inquiry into any matter of public interest, where A, the Cabinet advises that it is in the public interest to do so, or B, Parliament, by a resolution passed in that behalf, requires that the commission be appointed to inquire into a matter specified in the resolution, being a matter of public importance. Constitutional instruments, in exercise of the powers so conveyed, were passed in Parliament on the 1st of August 2018, requiring justices as sole commissioners to inquire into matters so clearly stated in sections 4A to E of CI numbers 64, 65, and 67 thereof. Today, the aforesaid 3 separate commissions of inquiry are being launched. Let me, on behalf of the government and peoples of Sierra Leone, waste no time in welcoming all to such an epoch-making event, the occasion of this auspicious launch. To our renowned and esteemed honorable Justices Commissioners, and a special welcome. And thank you for accepting to do this arduous task of sole commissioners for the 3 commissions of inquiry. These commissioners together present a wealth of experience of over 100 years. They have been specially, carefully, and meticulously chosen. And this is not the first time that they have had to serve as commissioners in the Commission of Inquiry. Honorable Justice William Annan Atukuba presents a life experience as a judge of 44 years standing, of which he has spent 22 years in the Supreme Court of Ghana.
Bele, Judge B, is a justice of the Court of Appeal of Nigeria, a judge and legal luminary for over 30 years. His mantra is Fiat Justitia Ruat Kanun, meaning let justice be done, though the hand is small, implying that justice ought and must be done no matter the consequences. Honorable Justice Bankole Thompson is a renowned ex-prosecutor in Sierra Leone, a renowned ex-High Court judge in Sierra Leone in the early 80s of proven sobriety. In the days of Black December, he was the prosecutor. A law professor from the University of Eastern Kentucky, USA, a United Nations Special Court judge from 2002 to 2012, and a United Nations Residual Special Court judge 2013 to date. He has authored several books, including the criminal law in Sierra Leone, the constitutional history and law of Sierra Leone, 1961 to 1995, and universal jurisdiction with Sierra Leone proper. He is noted in the severe charge of the Special Court of Sierra Leone for having given dissenting judgments in unique circumstances. One thing which resonates to all these injustices commissioners, apart from their remarkable competence, is their independent mind. So to those that are guilty about having to face these commissions, which is quite understandable, let your minds be at ease and be rest assured that justice is not. Since the heralded back and the setting up of the commissions of inquiry by the aforesaid instrument, views are polarized as to whether it should be set up in the first place, and secondly, whether the correct procedure has been followed in setting them up. This is only academic. It has no practical value or significance. There have been talked about contrary to Section 150 of the Constitution of Sierra Leone 1991. Who says there are no rules? Check out the Commissions of Inquiry Act 54 of the Laws of Sierra Leone 1960 and the Commission of Inquiry Amendment Act No. 1 of 1982. They claim further that the executive, meaning the President, overstepped their mandate as they had no power to make rules for commissions. Against this background, I say to you, commissioners, that is their claim, but should never stop you from performing your duty. Your duty as commissioners, you need to stay within the parameters and limits. That is to say, a full, faithful, and impartial inquiry, as stated by Section 1491 of the Constitution, and no more. The much hyped about Section 150 of the Constitution commences with the words, quote, subject to this chapter, unquote. The chapter starts from Section 147 and ends at Section 150, of which Section 1491 is what details your duties as commissioner. Section 141 provides as follows. The Commission of Inquiry shall, A, make a full, faithful, and an impartial inquiry into any matter specified in the commission of an appointment. B, report in writing the result of the inquiry. And C, furnish in respect of the report reasons leading to the conclusions arrived at or reported. Thus, implicitly and or expressly, Section 150 is subject to Section 1491. These conditions, as stated in Section 1491 Supra, constituting part of the primary legislation, are bigger and mightier than any proposed rules constituting secondary legislation, otherwise known as delegated, subsidiary, or subordinate legislation, created by the same parliament that might have come into force by any rules of court committee, and indeed form the basis under which the established commissions of inquiry under Constitutional Instrument No. 64, 65, 67 should operate. Any rule made under Section 150 will only have been there to support and supplement Section 1491, and its absence or otherwise does not reduce or add to the powers so conferred, especially when it says subject to discharge. And where the commissioners hearing are indeed you such eminent jurists of profound renown, high caliber, and proven independence. This, as you are well aware, brings to light the power of primary legislation over secondary legislation. Primary legislation consists of statutes known as Acts of Parliament that set out broad outlines and principles, but delegate specific authority to other agencies or bodies. The Salone Act, number 6 of 1991, the Constitution of Salone is one such primary legislation. Delegated legislation are rules and regulations made by persons authorized to make them, which cannot in any way override the primary legislation. Their main purpose is mostly made always to supplement, support, and in some cases administer or enforce primary legislation. Thus, anything it takes to make a faithful, full, and impartial inquiry as commissioners will suffice. This may require you to make your own rules to bring about such impartiality. Yes. And even if there may not be rules from the rules of court committee, which anyway would have been subject to section 1491 of the Constitution, rules made to show such impartiality by you will not only be sufficient, but well replaced. Chapter 54 of the Commissions of Inquiry Act 1960 and its Amendment Act number 1 of 1982 calls part of the existing laws of Sierra Leone by virtue of section 171E of the Constitution of Sierra Leone, Act number 6 of 1991. In section 9 of the Commissions of Inquiry Amendment Act number 1 of 1982, there is power given to you commissioners to make rules. Rules or no rules. And even in the light of an allegedly overstepped constitutional mandate, you are still empowered and required to do all it takes to operate within the primary legislation and the constitutional mandate as laid down in section 1491 Supra. This is what you will be judged on. At the end of your work, people will be asking, did you make a full, faithful, and impartial inquiry? Did you report in writing the findings of the inquiry? And whether you disclose or furnish the report, the reasons leading to the conclusions and write down. A full inquiry presupposes that all what was required to be inquired into was indeed inquired into, leaving no stone untouched. A faithful inquiry presupposes that what was found out was brought out in your findings with no distortion, while an impartial inquiry would require that due process was observed, relevant evidence admitted without technicalities, and that there was equality of arms to all parties, and so on and so forth, as you deem fit and just in the circumstances. I have no doubt that you are up to the task. To you, the members of the public, and all concerned, I will ask that you welcome and support the commissioners who are more than equipped to carry out the inquiry you have demanded. I thank you all for your attention.
It is my honor to introduce the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Dr. Priscilla Schwartz, for a statement.
Well, I'm not even sure whether I need to say anything more to the Lordship of Your Excellency the President, Retired Brigadier Dr. Julius Marder, my Lord, the Honourable Speaker of the Parliament, my Lord the Chief Justice, and the justices of the Commissions of Inquiry. Madam the Chief Minister and colleague ministers, members of the Diplomatic Corps, honorable members of Parliament, retired vice presidents, primary chiefs, heads of ministries, departments, and agencies, members of the Foreign Estate, distinguished ladies and gentlemen present here, and my fellow Sierra Leoneans within the sound of my voice. Good morning, good afternoon, sorry. Welcome to the opening ceremony of this long-anticipated Commissions of Inquiry, the People's Commission of Inquiry. After much delay, it is a huge relief to have finally arrived here. My office has used the opportunity of the delay in starting the Commissions of Inquiry to gain deep thought on how best we could set the Commissions of Inquiry within limited resources of the state, while also seeking to institute a credible legal process. Your Excellency, our government inherited from the previous regime a depleted economy and weak institutions. The Governor's Transition Team report commissioned by your good self to review the economy, uncover gross fiscal indiscipline, its management, ministries, partners and agencies, rampant corruption, including the award of inflated government contracts to relatives and friends, and the inappropriate acquisition of state assets and properties. Your commitment, sir, to war on corruption and bad governance in our country, which is translated in the establishment of the People's Commissions of Inquiry, is not simply a political stance, as some will perceive it. It follows your constitutional responsibility under subsections 5 of section 6 of the 1991 Constitution of Sierra Leone, Act No. 6 of 1991, which provides that, and I quote, the state shall take all steps to eradicate all corrupt practices and the abuse of power, end quote. So heed the cry of the prophet Isaiah in the Holy Bible. The Lord brings this charge against the elders and leaders of his people, who have devoured the vineyard, and the blood of the poor is in their houses. End quote. That's Isaiah chapter 3, verse 14. It beholds all organs of governments and authorities administering functions of the state, our international partners, all Sierra Leoneans, to support and promote His Excellency's declaration of war on corruption, including the People's Commission of Inquiry. Your Excellency, my office and ministry will continue to work tirelessly through these commissions of inquiry and will employ other state legal processes to support Your Excellency's deep commitment to combat corruption, bring back accountability in governance, and to foster economic growth and justice for the people of Sierra Leone. Those who have less in life must have more in life. The hosting of this event in this Peace Museum, which is the memorial site for the decade-long armed conflict that destroyed hundreds of thousands of lives and property in Sierra Leone, is to remind all that to seek justice is a forerunner of peace. The records of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission housed in this museum bear evidence of the link between bad governance and rampant corruption. Never again, I repeat, never again should we overlook the plunder of our state's resources with impunity. This underscores the government's decision to establish the Commissions of Inquiry mechanism and the parliamentary ratification of the Commission of Inquiry, examination, inquiry, and investigation by constitutional instruments numbers 64, 65, and 67 of 2018, respectively, to give legal effect to the same. The commissions will be chaired by 3 sole commissioners appointed by the President under the constitutional instruments in the persons of the Honorable Justices Bankole Thompson, Bayoba Georgeville, and William Atan Atakuba, all distinguished judges in their respective jurisdictions and globally of high standards standing and reputation. Far removed from our political context that is so often laced with skepticism, I believe this worthy composition of judges will ensure a fair, transparent, and impartial commissions of inquiry. I want to assure the government and the people of Sierra Leone that the legal process by these commissions of inquiry will complement other areas of our justice system, which has been set up to combat corruption, embezzlement, fraud, and other criminal conduct, and will allow for criminal and anti-corruption matters and regulatory investigations to proceed without the possibility of prejudice. These instruments respectively prescribe the persons of target within a certain period and the issues which are to be investigated. It also confers the power of the President to appoint persons to be subject to the investigation where the case for this is presented to be from time to time. The commissions of inquiry is different from the court of trial in that it is fact-finding exercise that is guided by the terms and conditions of the constitutional instruments. The terms of reference for the inquiry require the commission to examine the assets and all the related matters in respect of persons who were presidents, vice presidents, ministers of state and deputy ministers, and heads of chairmen of boards of power structures, departments and agencies within the period from November 2007 to April 2018. Specifically, it will inquire into and investigate to ascertain whether assets were acquired unlawfully or lawfully, whether the said persons maintained a standard of life above that which was commensurate to their official emoluments, whether they owned or were in control of pecuniary resources or property disproportionate to their official emoluments, or there is evidence of corruption, dishonesty, or abuse of office for private benefit by them. We'll also examine whether they collaborated with any person or persons in respect of such corruption, dishonesty, or abuse of office. We'll also look at whether they acted willfully or complacently in such manner as to cause financial loss or damage to the government, local authority, or parastatal, including the public corporation. We'll also look at whether they acquired directly or indirectly financial or material gains fraudulently or improperly or willfully to the detriment of the government, a local authority, or a parastatal, including a public corporation, a statutory commission or body, or any university in Sierra Leone. The investigations will inquire into and investigate any persons or matters made from time to time referred to the Commission by His Excellency the President. Now, to those persons prescribed in the terms of the instruments who may be of interest to the commissions, I assure you that our endeavor to fight corruption is not a witch hunt, but a quest for accountability. I believe all good stewards should be glad and willing to submit to the investigations when invited to defend their stewardship. We encourage you to participate in these commissions of inquiry to the maximum extent possible. I look forward to meeting many of you at the public hearings. Your Excellency, sir, I fully recognize that the public is entitled to a full examination, inquiry, and investigation of what went wrong in the management of our country's economy and institutions, and to recover on their behalf for the state as much as possible all ill-gotten monies and assets that we can legitimately lay claim to. Guided by the terms of the constitutional instruments, we will therefore adopt a strategic design in leading the investigations before the Commission using a three-pronged approach which focuses on inappropriate impersonation infrastructure contracts, unexplained wealth and assets, and abuse of office and bad governance issues. This approach will afford us the opportunity to seek an explanation from officials in the previous administration of their stewardship as a basis to recover for the people of Sierra Leone assets and other properties inappropriately acquired, but also serve will enable a wider knowledge and deeper understanding of the root causes of their mismanagement of our public institutions and to catalog the lessons for posterity. The hearings, Your Excellency, will commence effectively on Monday after the pre-hearing conferences with the learned judges of the commissions. Permit me, Your Excellency, to digress for a moment and break silence to speak categorically to some concerns that have been raised regarding the validity of the instruments of the commissions of inquiry. Specifically, sir, the noise largely speaks to legal questions around the complicity with sections 150 of the 1991 Constitution, of subsection 1 and 2 of section 6 of the Constitutional Instruments, number 64, 65, and 67. As my Lord Justice has just read, section 150 of the Constitution of Sierra Leone states that subject, and that is the prevailing word, subject to the provisions of this chapter, the rules of court committee shall by constitutional instrument make rules regulating the practice and procedures of all commissions of inquiry, not just some or selective. Whereas subsections 1 and 2 of section 6 of the constitutional instruments number 64, 65, and 67 adopts, and I quote, the practice and procedure in force in the High Court with such modification, adaptation, and exception as are necessary, end quote. And it also provides that the commissions and courts shall not be bound by the rules of evidence in civil or criminal proceedings. Your Excellency, our critiques purport to suggest that commissioners cannot adopt existing rules of court to regulate the practice and procedure of the commissions of inquiry unless the rules of court committee make rules to regulate the same. In the same way, they imply that there are no existing rules of court or rules of evidence which are applicable to the commission's inquiry. Your Excellency, sir, without seeking to litigate this issue in this forum, I crave your indulgence to speak a bit on this issue, if only to calm any anxiety in the minds of our people of this great country who are desperate to support the commissions of inquiry. I wish to invite the self-acclaimed legal luminaries who hold a brief on this matter to consider sections 148, subsections A to C of the 1991 Constitution, which is expressed verbatim in the respective constitutional instruments 64, 65, and 67 by subsections A, B, and C of section 7. This provision gives the commissioners judicial powers, rights, and privileges vested in the High Court or a judge thereof at a trial in respect of certain procedural issues. The commissions of inquiry can therefore adopt existing rules of court to guide their hearings, and I could refer to a few existing rules of court which could be used and are applicable to the commissions of inquiry, namely the High Court Rules 2007, the Evidence Documentary Act Cap 26, Cap 54, Rules of Commissions of Inquiry, and the Amendment Act No. 1. Your Excellency, sir, the power to adopt existing rules of court is possible because the widely discussed section 150 of the 1991 Constitution of Sierra Leone on the rule-making authority of the Rules of Court Committee for all commissions is, as my Lord Chief Justice has pointed out, subject to, or I dare say, subordinate to the powers vested in the
commissioners under Section 148 of the that is transposed in the constitutional instruments verbatim. Let me state that the commissions of inquiry should not and will not wait for the Rules of Court Committee to make rules before it can commence its operation. Because such power will be exercised in relation to these specific commissions of inquiry, while the power in the Constitution speaks to the promulgation of rules applying to all commissions. The purpose of Section 150 of the 1991 Constitution, therefore, I submit, is to best reserve powers and to specify the body that will be responsible for making rules for all commissions of inquiry, should it be deemed necessary. On this reasoning, Your Excellency, we see that several commissions of inquiry have been held under existing legislation in this country between 1967 to date, and are self-regulating, including the Justice Foster Commission of Inquiry, the several Davis's Commission of Inquiry, the Linton Islander Commissions of Inquiry, Justice Agari and Adolphi and Wilson and so on and so forth commissions of inquiry. In fact, Your Excellency, more recently, commissions of inquiry have been appointed by constitutional instruments as our constitutional instruments 64, 65, and 67 of 2018, which have provoked so much sensation. The Commission of Inquiry of Justice, the Lord Justice Bankole Thompson, and others, under Constitutional Instrument Number 1 of 2009. The Commission of E-Issues Moses, under Constitutional Instrument Number 8 of 2009. Justice Annalisa Showers and other Commissions of Inquiry, under Constitutional Instrument Number 16 of 2010. I challenge anyone to identify one commission of inquiry that was held in this country for which the Rules of Court Committee have made rules. So, Your Excellency, I ask, why did our critics not levy charges against these instruments in 2009 and 2010? Better still, why did our noble Bar Association not take steps to have the Rules of Court Committee, in which they represent as members, frame rules for operations of those instruments? Are those commissions of inquiry invalidated as a result of their inaction? I say emphatically, no. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, permit me, sir, to use this platform to observe that it is disingenuous to base any legal arguments in respect of instruments number 64, 65, and 67 that purport to suggest that there are no rules regulating commissions of inquiry, or to undermine the judicial powers of the Commission to self-regulate within existing applicable rules that they deem relevant. As the titular head of the bar, let me take this opportunity to advise colleague lawyers. Let me take this opportunity to advise colleague lawyers, especially the senior members of the bar, to observe the sanctity of our noble profession and to desist from litigating legal matters, especially contentious aspects, in the court of public opinion. No matter how we theorize or analyze the law, no legal rights may accrue from their interpretations unless the appropriate forum adjudicates us. Let us therefore show restraint and endeavor to take our contentions to the appropriate forum. And if we must engage in legal analysis, if only for information, then let us present the law. All of it, so as not to mislead the public. At this juncture, Your Excellency, I extend my thanks
appreciation to you, our Honorable Vice President of the Judicial General, colleague ministers, especially the Chief Minister, the Minister of Finance, where are you? The Minister of Works, the Minister of Information and Communication, for your immense support of the process of instituting the Commission of Inquiry. I also appreciate the honorable members of Parliament who worked with their Speaker so hard and demonstrated courage to choose the path of justice for our people in the national. Mr. Anti-Corruption Commissioner, your assistance is also duly recognized. My able team in the Office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice and the Consultant Council, I am beholden to you. And to the great people of Sierra Leone, your courage, resilience, and determination to support the Commission of Inquiry has warmed my heart. I love you. Finally, on our efforts to fight corruption and abuse of office in our country, I wish to submit our endeavors to this purpose to the Almighty God in the words of the prophet Isaiah in Isaiah 11:4, 33:22. For the Lord is our judge, the Lord is our lawgiver, the Lord is our king. He will save us. He will judge the poor righteously and execute justice for the oppressed and for our land. May God bless our people and the land that we love, our Sierra Leone.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the high point of the program. It is my honor to invite to the mic our keynote speaker, our fountain of honor, our father of the nation, the Commander-in-Chief of the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces, the Grand Commander of the Republic of Sierra Leone, distinguished guests, I present to you His Excellency, Brigadier Retired Julius Mada Dio.
Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Chief Justice, Honorable Chief Justices, Commissioners, Chief Minister, Ministers and Deputy Ministers of Government, Honorable Members of Parliament, former Vice Presidents, Government Chiefs, and other traditional leaders here, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, representatives of our development partners, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. You can sit at ease because I don't have any provisions of the Constitution that I'm going to put in here. I'm not yet learned. In May last year, during my inaugural address, I launched 3 peaceful democratic wars. First, the war on indiscipline. Second, the war on corruption. And third, the war on poverty. Today we are here to affirm that the peaceful democratic war on corruption is constructive, unmistakable, and winnable. Corruption remains the single most crucial, critical deterrent to the development of Sierra Leone. It impedes human capital development, which is the most critical driver of development in every country. When money is meant for educating our children and the youth are stolen just by few people, this is a threat to our national development. When money is meant for providing basic social services for every citizen are stolen by just a few people to build mansions and buy luxury cars, this is a threat to our national development. When money is meant for providing healthcare facilities or ensuring food security every region are stolen by few, that also is a threat to national development. When grants or loans meant for building critical infrastructure that will propel economic activity and provide good paying jobs for our people are stolen by few people, this also is a threat to national development. When few people collude among themselves and deprive our citizens and country of revenue from our rich natural resources and sources of public revenue, their activities constitute a threat to our nation. When people fraudulently convert public funds and resources to their own private use, waste public funds with impunity, and abuse their offices and authorities, that also is a threat to our nation. And we must also be very clear that when people who occupy public offices steal public money or engage in other forms of corruption, they do not do so on behalf of their tribe, their region, their political party. Rather, they do so as individuals or as a group of individuals, and they do so and they must be held accountable for doing so. Corruption is a threat to our national development and national security. Corruption is a clear and present danger to the life of every Sierra Leonean and a threat to our existence as a nation. We must confront corruption head on. We must be bold and resolute. We must fight and win this war on corruption. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission report has continued to remind us loudly that corruption was one of the main causes of the bloody civil war in this country. Despite strong anti-corruption laws introduced in 2000 and amended in 2008, governance institutions and national development have been perennially weakened by corruption. Corruption has thrived because there has been a lack of strong political will and a near absence of steely determination to draw a line under corruption once and for all. Successive government audit reports reminded government between 2007 and 2018 of gross inefficiencies and deficiencies in governance and public accountability, leakages and downright squandering of state revenue and resources. The responses were more lip service to fighting corruption, sham trials, and backdoor acquittals and reinstatement of public officials. 2 days after I took office, I commissioned the governance transition team to investigate perceived governance and public accountability issues that had led to the near collapse of our state. Their report concluded that rampant corruption, fiscal indiscipline and abuse, and misuse of public office had left Sierra Leone in a dysfunctional state. The country was overburdened with debt, a near moribund economy, weakened governance institutions, and gross inefficiencies and injustices in governance processes. Based on the recommendation of the GTT report for a judge-led commission of inquiry, my government requested the legislature to debate and introduce the commissions of inquiry as required by law. The commissions of inquiry will look at 3 key issues: governance processes, assets, and the outcome of the forensic audit. The forensic audit tracked fraudulent activities within entire chains of governance. The Commission on Assets will look closely at disparities between income or means and assets. The Commission on Governance processes will examine inefficiencies and deficits in governance, especially where people deliberately misused public offices or took advantage of state institutions. The judges have no stake in the politics of our country, and they will sit as independent commissioners without bias or prejudice. It is not a political reform. Nobody is going to ask whether he or she belongs to a political party or is from a particular region. It is a simple process. The commissioner will ask people questions, investigate what they are told, and the evidence before them. Therefore, present a report of their findings. Ask the government, will we act on those findings because it is in the national interest and it is for the public good? Will we act on the findings to show Sierra Leone, including serving government officials, that this must be the last commission of inquiry in our country? These commissions will act as a deterrent to every Sierra Leonean who are or will be entrusted with public trust. They are and will remind them that when one serves one country, one must serve with honesty, fairness, justice, diligence, and compassion. As I've said repeatedly, this war against corruption is the war we must fight, and it is a war that we must win. I have fully empowered the Anti-Corruption Commission to use all legal powers to relentlessly investigate and prosecute all cases of corruption, even in my administration. Therefore, let me make this solemn promise to the nation that anyone found wanting of corruption in my administration will be promptly removed from public office and subjected to the full force of the law. As a government, our fight against corruption is and will remain as consistent as it is robust. As a country, we must put an end to this culture of rampant stealing, abuse, waste, and impunity. We must foster a culture of public accountability. The commissions of inquiry are a public commitment by us as Sierra Leoneans to rid our country of corruption, fraud, and waste. Therefore, the war against corruption is not just a fight for myself. I call on all political parties, ethnic groups, regions, NGOs, CSO, religious bodies, and Sierra Leoneans at home and abroad to join the war against corruption. The commissions of inquiry are a part of the war against corruption. As a people, the commissions of inquiry give an opportunity to hold accountable those who once were entrusted with public offices. We owe it to our country. We owe it to our compatriots and generations yet unborn to get it right once and for all. This is about democratic accountability and our collective determination to win the war against corruption. Let me end by reiterating that all those who will be invited by the commissions of inquiry must fully comply. Anyone, and I repeat, anyone who fails to honor the invitation of the commissions of inquiry will face the full force of the law. I formally want the commissions of inquiry. Thank you all.
Boy, the ball was out. Boy, the ball was out. The ball was out, boy.
Not now. I promised to top up EDSA today.
Stop complaining and use your AfriCell line to buy us EDSA.
My AfriCell line? AfriCell?
Oh yes! With your AfriCell line. To buy EDSA, simply dial *161# to access your AfriCell money account and choose bill payment. Then select EDSA recharge. Enter your meter number, enter the amount you want to pay, and then enter your AfriCell money PIN to confirm your transaction.
But how can I refill my AfriCell money account?
You can top up your AfriCell money account with no extra charges from any AfriCell outlet near you, or simply at any shop or bank where you see a sign that says AfriCell money available here. Buy EDSA now straight from your AfriCell money account at the cheapest cost ever. A price nobody dares to match.
AfriCell, now we network. The GT Bank MasterCard will make you enjoy faster cashless with more security card experience. You can use them for shopping and pay your bills. You can also withdraw money up to 2 million loans from any GT Bank ATM all over the country. And you go access your bank account from any MasterCard outlet all over the world anytime you travel. Visit any GT Bank branch today and get your own one-time wanted. You will able to use your GT Bank MasterCard. That can place your we can call na Salone. AAH Lungi Airport Duty Free, Coffee Shop, Crown Bakery Wilberforce Street, Family Kingdom, Foodland Supermarket, NP Bipure Road, John Bassi International Restaurant, Lagunda Restaurant, Monoprick Supermarket, Sierra Estate Semco Lodge McKinney, Sierra Estate Goldridge, The Dollar Store, Best Quality Supermarket, Special Kitchens Restaurant, Wusum Hotel McKinney, London Supermarket, Tima Fishing, Mabella Fishing Compound, Lagunda Clubhouse, Seabad Moritown, Nice Cream Restaurant Aberdeen, Sweet Salon Toke Resort, Nassim Supermarket, Seabed Lungi Airport, Hill Valley Hotel, Suits Restaurant, Freetown Supermarket, Basha Bakery, Freetown Mall, St. Mary's Supermarket, Hill Station, and Juba Hills, Bliss Restaurant, Sea Coach Water Taxi, Alfreda's Restaurant, Pearl Hotel, Swiss Spirit Hotel, Swiss Spirit Restaurant, Spur Road, 232 Restaurant, Lumley Beach. JT Bank, wouldn't you rather bank with us?
Hotel, the jewel of tourism.
Oh, you're bagging number 10. You can don't beat the number 5. You don't beat the number 2. Face to face, the keeper. Goal! Baggy to God, this is take something. I don't believe Baggy take something. Trust me. La no lie, take something. Ben. You know what they take? Bomba yogurt. You see bomba yogurt? It can make it drink. It fast. You see it? Hey, lie, I tell you. It get protein. It get vitamin. They make it fierce. Bomba yogurt. It then that cool my way get that to chaya. With the bubble they can they ride. The fine one. Never take something. Bomba yogurt.
It's where I belong, where I feel strong. Listen, brothers, see the colors, the sweet signs and calls of our mothers. You can go, but you can never leave. Forever wear your soul in your sleeve. See the beauty of the time and you just look around. Close your eyes, hear your mind, and you can hear the sound. And believe in what you lost can only be found. It's where I belong, where I feel strong. Listen. Listen, sweet sense of the streets and the avenues. Nothing out there is even comparable. I feel alive every time when I'm home. Cause being with my brothers fresh as my soul. Feel alive and live the road.
No matter how far we travel or how famous we become, we will always be Sierra Leonean.
Thank you very much.
Oh, we're happy for the president for this initiative.
All right, welcome back.
We appreciate the government for this venture.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. This is the Peace Museum. In the backdrop, you can see victims of mudslide, victims of Ebola victims.
Take time.
Please, let's few of us stay outside, please.
So this is the admin support, the supporting staff of the commission, council for persons of interest. This is our defense. This is our office. The chamber, this is the court.
So the president is being taken to the other facilities to check out the conditions where this whole process will be conducted. As you can see, this is also an office space, and from what you can see, there's also another courtroom, which I believe is the second courtroom. So the president is looking around. They are directing him into the administrative building. So each one of these facilities have been prepared with a chamber, and then we have counsel for the state, and we have counsel for the person of interest. So different offices have been created of the facility. Make if you can call them. This is the third room, and because the rooms are so small, so public access is going to be really restricted, because these rooms can't take more than 50, 20 people. So the presidents have visited all three facilities. Yes, the Commissions of Inquiry itself has a secretariat here, a mobile secretariat that they have set up to run the entire process so far. It's a bit difficult to get in, but
everybody.
The one goes.
I can't run commentary. I can't. So, Secretariat support, as it is called, one of the rooms is titled Secretariat Coordinator Conference Room. So we have different rooms in the Secretariat. As actually it's a little bit bigger than the others so far. And of course, the ACs are working. Every other thing is in place. Head of Information Management at the Secretariat. Different offices have been created to house this entire process, to make sure the entire process runs smoothly. So by his reaction, it seems as if the president is satisfied with what the country has invested in this process so far. So you're still watching AYV television, and we are here at the Peace Museum, formerly known as the Special Court Building, where the president is still here at the launching ceremony of the Commissions of Inquiry. So it's important for you to note that, yes, as part of the rehabilitations, yes, an access drive for disabled was also created. So, yes, we're live. So an access drive was created, and so disabled people can also have access to the whole process. Thousands of people are here cheering on the president for his efforts so far to establish his commission. Don't forget, this is one of the so as you can hear the noise, the cheering is on. Mada Bill, Mada Bill, Mada Bill. So I believe the president is now set to take his leave. So the president, the first lady, and a host of other ministers are now taking their leave. They have been here long enough. They've launched the commission and they've inspected the facilities, and it seems as if on the surface it's okay. And everything seems set here for the commission to officially
leading global electrical equipment and integrated supplier, Chint Electric is committed to providing the world with safe, reliable, and stable electrical equipment and clean energy solutions. After more than 30 years of growth, Chint has developed from Asia's largest LV apparatus supplier with strength from power generation storage, transmission transformation, distribution to terminal consumption. To date, with the annual sales revenue exceeding more than 6.7